Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Cryptids and Monsters video. I thought I would do another Cryptids of the week here. This time, the random page suggesting something that is pretty short when it comes to its description. Not much information related to this monster, but as always following the rules of my Cryptids of the week, whatever it lands on I shall talk about here. This one has to do with a monster that's apparently located there in Utah, specifically around the Great Salt Lake. And it has to do with a monster that's known as the North Shore Monster. Now, what's interesting about this monster is there's nothing that I could find online in terms of an actual drawing, a picture, a description of it, something that somebody created based on eyewitness accounts. The closest that I could find are some images which you'll find scattered throughout this video, which are as close as possible to the descriptions related. But what's interesting is that there are apparently two versions of this North Shore monster, both of them found a long time ago, not too far back, but still here in the United States in Utah. So you have to go back in time to the earliest known instance, about the 1840s. And what had happened was there in Utah, there's a location called the Great Salt Lake, which you'll see a picture of here, and it's a very large body of water. It has several islands located around it. In fact, one of those islands is known as an Antelope Island, which you're looking at a picture of here, and this happens to be the first known instance. So in the 1840s, there was a person that went by the name of Brother Bainbridge. I don't know if that was like his first name, Brother, or if that was just most likely a designation of sorts, but he went by the name, and then he's reported seeing a monster of some sort rise out of the lake near Antelope Island. And the way he described it was a monster with a dolphin-like body, and I believe it also had a horse-like head of some sort. So the closest comparison that I could find is this picture here. It's a drawing of some sort. It has nothing to do with the North Shore monster, but just imagine like something along these lines with what Brother Bainbridge saw back there in the 1840s. But that was it. That was the only known instance during that specific year. You have to go a couple of decades later to 1877 to find the next instance, and that's it, like the second instance, and that's all that's been purported. It has to do with with this person, a guy by the name of J.H. McNeil, him and several other employees of a company called Barnes and Company Salt Works. This location apparently was right there, right by the Lake North Shore, hence the name North Shore Monster. And as they were working, they purported to state that they saw something big, like a huge creature, also rise out of the waters there in the Great Salt Lake. This time, though, it headed straight towards them. And the way they described it was a huge creature. It had a crocodile-like body, and again, it had the head of a horse. And so what had happened was this thing went straight towards them, and it started creating what they called a fearsome bellowing noise, and it charged straight to them, almost like any animal that feels that you're invading its territory. Rightfully so, of course, these workers all ran up to the nearest hillside and hid in the brush up until the next morning, wanting to make sure that whatever this thing was that was coming straight towards them, they would not have an attack directly on them. So the creature, satisfied at that point, apparently just went back straight into the lake, and then that was it. That was the last time anyone ever saw this creature there in the Great Salt Lake, because there have been no other instances since that time up until now, 2015. So if anyone has any more information about other encounters, that would be interesting to hear. One of the closest explanations, though, with regards to this North Shore monster and what it could be was, at that time there was a lot of buffalo roaming around that area, and people believed that most likely this creature, whatever it was that these people were thinking, like these poor employees were thinking that it was some kind of monster, in actuality it was some kind of buffalo that throughout, I guess, the melee and everything happening all at once, them just having just brief snippets of eyewitness, I guess, visualizations, because this thing is running straight towards them. It's that situation where when you're running for your life, you're not going to really stick around and look at the details of what's charging at you. You're just going to poke your head back for like half a second at most while you're running for your life. So most likely people believe that this was just a regular buffalo or some kind of water buffalo of some sort, that these people accidentally encroached on its territory. It charged straight to them, and in that melee they mistaken it for something else in terms of a monster. But still, that also doesn't account for the other encounter, the one that was in 1840s with this guy, Brother Bainbridge. I can kind of see the buffalo argument, because like you're seeing in some of the pictures here, when a buffalo rises from the water, especially if, let's say, the angle of the water kind of distorts things, and in this case, this was happening, I believe it was either at dusk or evening, so very, very late towards the night. You can definitely, take into consideration that there's going to be more distortion when it comes to the image of this dark creature, this buffalo there in the waters. So most likely that's what people think it was, and I kind of tend to agree with that, especially again considering that they haven't gotten like a good look at this creature. But otherwise, that's it. North Shore monster. No other known encounters. If anyone has any more information about this creature, any drawings or any other images related as well, that would be fantastic to hear too. So, all right, everybody. Thanks again as always. Take care.